Welcome back to a new episode of the Peak Signing Agents podcast and YouTube channel. I'm your host, DVO Derek Van Otten. I am the owner of a worldwide notary service, Peak Signing, which you can follow me at Peak Signing. And I'm here to help you become the best notary public that you can possibly be. I bring episodes to you every single week. I hope you appreciate that. And if you do appreciate that, if you've gotten any value from any of my episodes, if you don't mind nominating me for the National Notary Association's Influencer of the Year. You can make those nominations until September 15th of 2026. So I'll just keep kind of posting this for the next couple episodes. I'll put the description in, I'll put the information on how to do that in the description of the podcast or the YouTube video. You can go there and see all the details on how to submit that. Anyway, only if you think I have brought value to you in some way. But anyway, I appreciate you tuning in to a new episode once more. On this episode, I want to talk about hiring your kids for your notary business. Is this something you've thought about? Have you done it? If you've hired your kids, please go to YouTube, go in the comments, write down what job they did for your notary business. And I'm gonna talk about some of the benefits of hiring kids. I'm gonna talk about some details about that as well. But if I miss something, if you feel like I've missed something that was very important, please, again, go to YouTube, put a comments in there so other people can read them as well. I do want to start off by saying I am not a tax professional. I will talk about maybe some of the benefits, but I do not do taxes. I'm not a tax professional. Always seek professional advice from a tax preparer, CPA, or so forth. I've got my notes here that I'll go over. So let's get into it. Now, when you structure your business, you might be doing a DBA, you might be doing an LLC, a C Corp or S Corp. Some of what I will say will depend on how your notary business is structured, by the way. So again, I'm just giving you some opinions on why it's a good idea or maybe why it's not, what I personally do. And then you can take that information and take that to a tax professional and talk to them about how your business is structured and what benefits that brings to your business. Okay. So I just want to kind of give some highlights to that. Again, I'm not giving you tax advice. I'm not a tax professional. Seek professional help in that aspect. First thing I've got here are taxes. Again, depending on how your business is structured, there could be a tax benefit to hiring your kids and the wages that you are paying them, how you can deduct that. Now, running a business, deducting wages is always a tax deduction, paying wages. But anyway, again, look at how your business is structured because that is reflected there. For your kids, there's a lot of benefits for your kids as well. The payroll tax exemptions. So again, for example, if your kids are under 18 and you are set up as a sole proprietorship or a single member LLC, they may be exempt from Social Security and Medicare. If they're under 21, they might be exempt from unemployment. However, if you might be a C Corp or S Corp, they still might have to pay those things. Again, talk to a tax professional. I'm just saying maybe. And obviously, always look at each year's laws because they can change at any time. I'm recording this in 2026. In 2027, these could change. So always look at what the laws are and talk to a tax professional. All right. I'm just giving you help here. As of now, your child can earn up to the federal standard deduction for the year tax-free, depending on how your business is structured. Your child might not have to pay any taxes. So again, you might get the benefit of writing off, taking that deduction of an employee, deducting their wage from your taxes, but your child might also be able to have all that earned income tax-free. So again, look at that. And because your child is now earning an income, they can contribute to their retirement account, like a Roth IRA for example. With a Roth IRA, they put money into their account, into their IRA account, which stands for, well, not necessarily, but we'll just say it stands for Individual Retirement Account. Okay. The Roth IRA, money goes into their Roth IRA from their checking or savings account. That money has already been taxed money goes into their Roth IRA. And again, if they follow the laws properly, that income, when they are of the right age, when they withdraw that retirement income at their appropriate age, could all be tax-free income when they are retired at the correct age. So again, I'm not going to give those ages because that could change. It hasn't for a long time, but it could. Anyway, it's your child. It won't be for a long time from now anyway. But anyway, they could be looking at tax-free income at their retirement age. We're talking about creating generational wealth for your kids. That's what I want to share with you here, to help your kids learn the habit of investing and saving for their future. But then I've always wanted you to win in business, okay? That's always my goal for this podcast and YouTube channel. I want you to win in business. I want you to make lots of money. I want you to save that money. I want you to pass on that gene of saving to your kids. I want you to become wealthy. I want your kids to become wealthy. I want your grandkids to be wealthy. I want you to change your family tree when it comes to wealth. Okay, I want you to do that. I want you to be the one to do that. No one changed my family's tree. I will be the one to do that for my family. I want you to be the same one for your family, okay? So anyway, your child because they're having an earned income, they can start putting money into, like, for example, their Roth IRA. Some things to keep in mind, though, okay? If you're going to put your kids on the payroll, if you're going to be paying your kids to work in your business, some things to think about. Make sure that it's actually real work for the business, okay? You can't pay them to cut the grass and of your house, or to sweep and mop your entire house and say that that is for the business, that's their income for the business, okay? So it has to be real work. Some examples of real work would be cleaning your office. For example, my home office is an actual dedicated room in my home. All right. Down in my basement, I have a dedicated room. That room is my office. Everything in that room is all office equipment. It's my desk, my printer, my scanner, my filing cabinets. There is nothing related to my home in that room. So my youngest child, her job is to dust and sweep and vacuum that office space, because that is my office. And I write that off as part of my business deductions when I do my taxes. So that is my office space. I actually write that whole room off. That is a dedicated office space, and my child cleans that office. Some other example, I have friends that have hired their kids. They might be able to deposit checks. They might be able to file paperwork, doing filing. Maybe they're doing data entry. Maybe they're doing some social media posts. So these are just some examples of hiring your younger kids. And you have to make sure it's age-appropriate work. So, for example, my 7-year-old, I'm not going to hire her to do bookkeeping, okay? That's not age-appropriate. Or maybe she's not going to be doing data entry. Some of her job details are cleaning the office. She can do some organizing, maybe filing, and also shredding. I just put a pile of paperwork that needs to be shredded, and she shreds the paperwork. You know, let's just say I printed paperwork for a signing, and the signing got canceled, and I'm still sitting on all the paperwork. I put it next to my shredder, and my 7-year-old goes and shreds that. My oldest, who's now 22, she is becoming a signing agent, or a loan signing agent herself, but I used to pay her. She was doing some data entry. I used to pay her to do data entry. That was her job. I also paid her to drive me around. So there was moments when I was super busy, and here I am recording in the back of my mobile office right now. I would sit here in the back of the mobile office. I was printing, scanning, filling out the paperwork while she was driving me around all day. So when she was out of school in the summertime, I was paying her. She was on the books. She was getting paid. She would drive me around all day long from 9 in the morning until 9 p.m. She was driving me around, and I'd buy her lunch, and she'd get paid for the day. Just driving me around. She'd just sit in the car, wait for me to get out of the appointment, and drive to the next one. Or I'd maybe have her be printing in the back. So when you hire your child, make sure it's age-appropriate work for what they can do. And I just gave you some great examples. If your child gets a little older, 18, 19, 20, they become an adult, they can. If you start a signing service, they can be one of your schedulers. They can be your data entry and bookkeeper. So those are just some examples of some work that they can do. You also have to make sure that when you are paying your child, you're paying them a reasonable wage. Not just because they're your child, you inflate their wage. So for example, let's just say you hire let's just say for example, my 7-year-old, she is getting paid $15 an hour right now for shredding and cleaning up. That's kind of what she's getting paid right now. It's a reasonable wage. I could hire somebody right now to do that same job for that same wage, but I'm not paying my 7-year-old $100 an hour. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not paying because, now she can get more money tax-free. She can put more money into her Roth IRA. So I'm gonna start paying her $100 an hour to be an assistant or admin work. No, that's just not reasonable. So you have to pay them a reasonable wage. Another thing is NIL, name, image, likeness. Name, image, likeness. If that sounds familiar, that's going to be what the sports athletes, college sports athletes are doing right now. So college sports athletes used to not be able to get paid as an athlete, but now they can through NIL, name, image, likeness, using their name, using their image, using their likeness to promote items or services. So for example, my 7-year-old, I can use NIL, and there's some more tax benefits there. Talk to a tax professional about this. But I can post her on my social media. I can maybe have her do some social media posts with me. And now I'm paying her on NIL. Again, some more tax benefits there. So something to look for there. Again, some more things to keep in mind are to have proper documentation in case you get audited. That's always something you need to think about in case you get audited. So make sure that they are on the payroll. They are getting weekly or biweekly pay stubs or monthly pay stubs. This is just things to track. So if you ever get audited, you can say, yes, I hired my child. This is their work. This is the role that they do. Here's their biweekly paycheck every 2 weeks. This is what they get paid. It's a reasonable wage. It's $15 an hour. It's $18 an hour. It's $20 an hour. Whatever it is, that's reasonable. Another thing to keep in mind is to make sure they have their own bank account. Your child should have their own bank account. The money that they get paid for your notary business gets deposited into that bank account. And if you set up like an investment account for them, the money that goes into their investment account comes from their checking account or savings account, right? This is just all great paper trail for you in case you ever get audited, that you can show you did all the right things lawfully. And everything I'm going to tell you right now is to always follow the book. I follow the law to a T. All right, I'm not messing around with the IRS. I'm not messing around with the Social Security or the government or FINRA. I don't mess around. All right, these are agencies. These are government agencies that can do things to your bank accounts and liens and wages, and I don't got time for that. All right, I follow it to the T. I follow the laws. I encourage you to follow the laws. I'm only telling you things that help you in your business, help your kids win in life and in business as well. The other benefit of hiring your kids is they're going to see your work ethic. They're going to see how hard you work, how much you sacrifice for your family. You sacrifice when you start a business. When you start your notary business, you're going to sacrifice time away. You're going to sacrifice birthdays, parties. You're going to sacrifice going to every event. You're going to sacrifice some of that to win in business. I'm not saying you have to as well. Run your business how you want to run your business. But that was something that I was willing to do. My wife understood that. My wife supported me, and she always talked up why I wasn't able to be there. You know what? Your dad can't make it to this event. He would love to be here, but he's working hard for us, and so he won't be able to come this time. But you know what? He'll be able to go to the next one. And my kids understood that. And every time I had to go to work, I told them, hey, I'm sorry I have to go right now, but remember, I'm doing this so that we can XYZ, whatever it was, go to Disneyland, go to the beach, go on vacation. There was always a carrot dangling in front of us to get us excited, to get us motivated. Right now, we're planning a cruise ship vacation. We're going to be gone for 10 days. 1 week on a cruise ship and then a few days on the beach, just enjoying vacation time. So that's the carrot I'm dangling in front of my family right now for the sacrifices we're making. Why I'm working, why this is a Sunday afternoon and I'm recording this episode for you instead of hanging out with my family and having family dinner time right now. I'm recording this episode for you. I just have to make sacrifices sometimes, but they understand the goal, and that's a goal that they wanted. It wasn't a goal that I set. It was a goal that we all wanted as a family, and they are supportive for me to do that, and I have to remind them sometimes of that, and they're like, go dad, go do it. But hiring your kids will let them see how hard you work for them, how much you sacrifice for them, how much you're willing to do and put into it to build a great life for them. I want you to build a great life for you and your family. I want you to win in this business. I want your kids' to be affected from all the hard work that you do today. All right. Keep winning. Keep being awesome. Keep being the amazing notary that you are. I know you're amazing. You always have me in your corner. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.